Hey, how you doing? Don't know if that's gonna work. We'll see. Hey, God bless you, man. I'm so glad that you're here. It just seems like Mondays are so far apart. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Urban Apologetics channel. I am your host. I'm excited that you're here with me. And tonight, I mean, every time we do this is definitely special. But tonight, just the way this is designed is going to answer some big questions, I think, for people. Like, why does the color of Jesus make a difference? Well, I'll tell you in advance, it shouldn't. But it made a difference to somebody. And because it did, it is my job to make you the absolute smartest person in the room. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do my job tonight, and we are going to have ourselves a fantastic time right down here in the man cave. You are with your knowledge junkie. Man, oh man, oh man. I have been studying and preparing, and sometimes I feel like I need to just stop reading because it's just hard. Everything starts looking good to me, right? And I just want to give it all to you. All right. Let me share this with you real quick. I cut this off the last time that we were together because I wanted to just get on to the information. But I made some chicken and dumplings not too long ago, and I just, it's more than, I added some spices and stuff, and, it was just really, really good. And I used the grand biscuits, and you got to cut those kind of big, or it'll all just turn out to be a pot of yeast, I guess. But nevertheless, I'm a foodie. I've told you that before. Just sharing that with you. Got it smelling good down here, y'all. I got the cotton candy. I had the blood orange, amaretto blood orange going last week, but I got the cotton candy going again this week. And it's just, man, it just creates such a nice atmosphere. So thank you. Thank you for turning aside from whatever it is that you were doing to come and hang out with me. If you're watching this on YouTube, I also want you to know that I am on Facebook. I want you to like and share there. And if you are watching this on YouTube, on Facebook, I want you to like and subscribe. All right, get this information out there, let people know exactly what we are doing. All right, now I'm going to dive in tonight. This isn't designed to be long, but nevertheless, I'll make sure we have time. Now, in the midst of doing that and telling you that this is adult story time, it's not for the kids. I hope that as adults you learn this information and you will share it with your kids so we don't have another generation that grows up ignorant of what I'm trying to share with you. All right, it's very important that it doesn't happen. Now, I want to do a little bit of station identification here, which is to remind you what this is all about. Okay. So 70% of young people, young black men and women, when they become adults, are leaving the church. Because when they get to college, somebody is telling them that Christianity is the white man's gospel. Nothing could be further from the truth. The Bible is black history. As Reverend Dr. Theron Williams says in his book that I've shared, portions of with you. Nothing could be further from the truth, but when you don't have an apologetic, when you only know the Bible stories, man, it's hard to defend it because there are so many offenses that have happened to black people, and the Bible has been perverted, used in very terrible, nefarious ways. It's a problem. And so it's imperative that we learn this information, this on to young folks. Now, if you're 18 years old and you're watching this, I mean, 18, 25 is kind of my target. Great, right? I'm actually, I've spoken at a university, getting ready to do it again real soon, where I'm going to teach this, but the next one's going to be the staff. It won't be the students like the first one, but wanting to get this information out, right? God desires harmony. And he will get his way. When it's all said and done, God will get the desire of his heart, which is that we all walk together, and that there is a number that no man can number of every tribe and every nation all around the world. Now, before I show you this video, something came in the mail today that I want to share with you, and I think this is the right camera to do it with. The video, which there aren't any right now, that was put together for Hebrews to Negroes. It's not available, but there are 2 volumes to this book, and number 2 arrived first just a few hours ago. This is what got oh my goodness. This is what got the basketball player in trouble. I'm sorry, my mind is somewhere else. Kyrie Irving. This is what got him in trouble. And I haven't read a page yet. Literally, it just came. But I did read the back of it, and it looks like the guy does the same kind of research that I do. Doesn't have an agenda. There's plenty of DNA evidence in it. It's not something that he just simply Googled, right? Because you can't do that in real research. And so, just looking at the back of it, I can see why the Jewish people had a problem with it. But that doesn't mean that it's not true. But I'll reserve my final thoughts after it's gonna be delicious. Yeah, I love to read. So it's not going to be a problem for me, especially if I'm looking at something that's just got me all fired up, okay? All right. I want to show you this video. We'll talk about it on the other side, and we'll make all of this stuff start to come together for you, all right?
2 teenagers, one who appeared to be white and the other black, fighting in a mall is causing uproar. This is video of 2 officers with New Jersey's Bridgewater Police Department breaking up the fight. You can see one officer sits the white-looking teenager down. The other officer handcuffs the black teen.
Yo, it's because he's black.
The black teen, named Kai, and his mom spoke with CNN.
What did you think of the treatment and the difference between how they treated your son and the other?
It doesn't take 2 adults. It doesn't. I keep trying to wrap my mind around it, and in no possible scenario does it make sense to me. If I hate to say this, but if it wasn't for race, then what is it? What made them tackle my son, not the other kid?
The other teen, named Joey, who was actually Latino, spoke with Pix 11 News.
It was wrong, and I knew that there was going to be problems when they did that.
Why?
Because they didn't go for me. She said stay put. That's all she said. I didn't understand why.
Many are now calling for the officers to be fired. In a statement on Facebook, the Bridgewater Police Department said in part, "We recognize that this video has made members of our community upset and are calling for an internal affairs investigation." The officers were able to respond quickly to this incident and stop it from escalating because of a tip we received from the community. New Jersey Governor Phil Murphy tweeted, "Although an investigation is still gathering the facts about this incident, I'm deeply disturbed by what appears to be racially disparate treatment in this video. We're committed to increasing trust between law enforcement and the people they serve." And the NAACP is weighing in as well. When Bridgewater police found 2 youths fighting, the immediate reaction was to aggressively throw the black child to the ground, knee placed around the neck area, and cuffed behind the back. At the same time, the white youth, at least equally at fault for the fight, as his black counterpart was carefully eased onto a couch and treated like a victim. The Bridgewater Police Department said it's now requesting the Somerset County Prosecutor's Office to assist in its investigation as it follows the New Jersey Attorney General's Internal Affairs guidelines. This is Inside Edition Digital.
So where does this kind of mentality come from? To automatically assume that the black kid is at fault. I mean, what does that video have to do with Jesus being white? What I want to show you tonight, what I'm hoping you'll hear and grasp tonight, is that this mentality of black bad, white good, has been going on for over 2,000 years. Slavery was easier because of the associations that are made with black skin being sinful, being evil, black skin being relating to demons. This kind of thinking has been around for a long time. It made slavery easier. It made, selling human beings and breeding them easier. Because of the negativity centered around black skin. And once the savior of the world was rendered as being white, because they certainly wouldn't have rendered him as being black, not just because of where they lived in Europe when they started drawing these pictures, but they would not have made him black because there was an association with evil. Gonna prove all that in just a second. I got the receipts, always do. If you know me and you watch, always got the receipts. They also made God white. Michelangelo painting the ceiling of the Sistine Chapel when God is reaching down to touch man, they're both white. That imagery, I've shown you before, I won't tonight, but I've told you that an image is 60,000 times more powerful than words. That's why, as I talked to you last week, and I thought I shared it before, where missionaries, as they went and colonized areas, the priests, not the missionaries, when priests would go into these areas that were being colonized, one of the first things they would do is have children start drawing Jesus as white, so that association would immediately be made that these people that you are now subservient to are the ones that look like God, and therefore deserve your reverence and servitude. All of that was on purpose. It wasn't an accident. Now, this picture, God made man in his image and man made God in his image. There are videos. This has been going on now for a little while. I got videos proving that the black man was the first man made from the dust of the earth, Adam, the earth. Right? I'm not going to go back over that. I've proven that Jesus is black. Proto-Asiatic, the first Asiatic people. Both biblical and secular literature prove that the lineage of Jesus is black. That these are dark-skinned folk. Can't look at the Afroasiatic people of today and make that determination. Go back to the time of Jesus and the things Josephus said and all of that. I can't go back. You have to watch the other videos because I got fresh stuff for you tonight. I'm tempted. It's not you, it's me. But someone changed the look of Jesus, the one that died and rose again, the Savior of the world. They changed that look, and many times over created something that is not true. He wasn't European. We've talked about the Ashkenaz Jews that occupy Israel right now. This is what got Kyrie in trouble. He was alluding to something that you should watch, not necessarily knowing the details of it. Just check this out, and got in trouble for it because the truth of the story they don't want told. That there is no direct connection in their line. Specific Y chromosome, yes, but they're not in the line of Shem, they're in the line of Japheth. There is no connection. And I can prove that without even stepping outside of the Bible to do it. But in addition to that, there's science. As I keep saying, the Bible and science agree. Well, this is what Jesus looked like. You understand? This is what Jesus looked like. And so, why would someone want to change that? Well, I've talked about what the missionaries and the priests were doing. I've got somebody to help. I hope you buy this video I'm about to show you, or subscribe to this particular channel. This information is awesome, and this is just a portion of the whole video. So please, watch it, like, and subscribe. I'm going to show you this, and then we will chat on the other side. Oh, wait. Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. I got something I want to read to you that I think is going to be very helpful in what we're talking about. Sorry, got a little bit ahead of myself. I'm going to read from this book. I've talked to you about this book and showed it to you as a source, but I've not done any reading from the book, and I'd like to do that today. All right? This will reinforce some of the things that I'm saying. Egyptians, Ethiopians, and blacks, or blackness, were often used with Greco-Roman writings to symbolize immoral behavior. Okay? Pay attention to some of these dates. In this regard, color symbolism became a useful means for communicating values about good and evil or right and wrong behavior. Ethiopians and blacks were used not only to symbolize evil and demonic activity, but also by some Greco-Roman authors to exemplify the virtuous, right? So if you are the opposite of having black skin, then you're a virtuous person, right? So they're attributing virtue to this. Okay. In addition, Egyptians, Ethiopians, and blacks were often used as symbols of sexual vice. Okay, there's, and we're not going to read it from this book, but there's also literature that talks about, a woman that's unchaste. This woman is a black woman. She's an Ethiopian woman, and so she's a temptress. All right, some of these authors and poets, these names are not familiar. The color black, or milos, was associated with immorality throughout Greco-Roman literature. The Greek poet Pindar, listen, 522 BCE, this is 522 years before Jesus, uses the term melena, all right, keep that melanin part in there, melos, meaning the color black. He used the term melena to describe the hard-hearted, right? Melanin cardian that had turned away from God. So black skin was associated with people that didn't worship God. According to Aristotle, that's very familiar, 4th century BCE, Egyptians and Ethiopians possessed the character trait of cowardice, delos, because of their black melanis, yeah, that's right, complexion. So just because of the color of their skin, we start making these associations. So that means every time you see a black man, you're making up in your mind, you're deciding in your mind that this person must be a particular way. They're against God. They don't have virtue, all that, just based on the color of their skin. And here's what Aristotle said. Those who are too black, agon melanas, are cowards. This applies to Egyptians and Ethiopians, But the excessively white are also cowardly. Whiteness, women, witness women, but the complexion that tends to courage is in between these two. That's so stupid. Well, he wasn't worshiping the God I know, but just think, that God would do that. That based on the color of skin, that determines the kind of person you are. Plutarch, that's another famous one, a first century CE moralist, advised a young man not to spend his time with those prone to evil. Do not taste of black tales. That is, do not spend your time with blackened men because of their malevolence, meaning evil, their tendencies to evil. So you have this happening over the centuries. The level of guilt that should be there when you're enslaving people is not there. Because you've already devalued them. This devaluing had been going on for a long time. And it picks up as time goes on. So when we get to, 14th century, 15th century, 16th century, when we start looking towards, getting up in that area and start looking in those years and start looking towards slavery, it's all right. Because these people are godless people. Just because of the color of their skin, they don't have value. And because Jesus is white, he's with us. We're the righteous ones. We're the pure ones. We are the chosen ones. And it created all kinds of, with slavery and beating folks and separating women from their children, all the things that they did, the level of remorse, guilt, understanding that it's wrong, conditioning kept that from happening. Wasn't there at the level it should, or they would have stopped. Right? The song we have, Amazing Grace, that song came out of someone understanding that these people are human beings and what I'm doing is wrong. I'm going to show you the video thought I was going to show you a second ago. Sorry, I got ahead of myself. This explains it better than I can. So let's watch this and we'll talk about it.
Despite the intention of early artists, this white Jesus stuck and was carried on by the popular culture. Even though some countries have their own artistic versions of Jesus, in the United States, this idea of a European-looking Jesus can have dangerous implications. Tabitha L. Jones-Jalvet, a professor of higher education and one of the authors of White Jesus, says that there has been a whitewashing process over time and that white Jesus is a function of white supremacy.
White Jesus is so much more than an icon. It's not neutral. And it's not neutral because it has been proliferated and it's expanded in terms of its presence over centuries. And it has been largely tied to what we call an imperial project, the agenda of a nation state. So when we think about sort of racial apartheid in the United States, which continues, we see that racial apartheid can be sustained using the white supremacist logic that flows from white Jesus. So I see the white savior mythology as serving the interest of white power and white supremacy. And I think that the gospel of Jesus has nothing to do with that.
There are some real world implications to this theory. Here on the White Jesus book cover, there is a common portrayal of blonde-haired, blue-eyed Jesus. And on the other side is an image that's based off of a drawing by Dylan Roof, the man who killed 9 worshipers at the Mother Emanuel African Methodist Church in Charleston, South Carolina. He drew this image while he was in jail. But this goes beyond Dylan Roof. Remember Professor Day? She says that the history of subjugation towards people of color in the US was justified by a white-looking Jesus.
The European-looking Jesus, in many ways, was actually used to support the system of white superiority and Black inferiority in this nation. Most clergymen during the founding of the colonies, the founding of America and onward, were the ones who were writing about the biblical basis for the inferiority of the Black race. And that, in fact, it was a responsibility of the white race to civilize the heathen, to civilize a pagan nation. So a part of that process was employing iconography. It was employing symbols and metaphors and images that could corroborate, that could fund, that could support this particular system of slavery, of colonization, intercolonization here, and eventually of segregation.
Whew, that was a lot.
So and because this was done at each level, let me go back and grab a piece real quick. You see, when we look at the church today, we often, some people go to church and some people don't. But there was a time that you didn't become king without being sanctioned by the Pope, by the church. They had that level of control. So they're intricately involved in every aspect of slavery, every aspect of how people thought. That everybody is less than them. And if you don't agree with them, you need to be dealt with. So everybody's in on it. And there is this conditioning that's constantly going forth about Black folks. We are the most enduring, prospering anyway, surviving people that ever walked the face of this earth because we've had to do it. Regardless of what our current state of affairs are, man, I'm proud of being a part of a group of people that are so enduring and successful anyway. And when I look back through history, the places where they left their mark, the narrative may have been changed and the story hasn't properly been told, but they did. They left their mark. I mean, there's eras of time that we haven't talked about yet, like the Renaissance and the Dark Ages and what was going on and all the Black success and rulership, even in Europe. Oh, man. Oh, that's why I'm just like, these Mondays are too far apart.